Hello and welcome to the long view with me, Jon Jordan. Today we're asking the question, what's wrong with Quantum Siege? Now what's wrong with is a kind of constructive criticism kind of feature we have with games that we've been playing a lot of. In the case of Quantum Siege, it's particularly relevant because this is in fact the last day that the servers will be live. So this game was in soft launch for a number of months in 2017. Also had a big update at the end of 2017 where they changed a lot of the kind of structure of the game. But still, the metrics weren't what the developer wanted. The developer is Armada Interactive, which is a startup out of Helsinki, Finland, fairly experienced in terms of its development team, but had never made a mobile game before, as a team at least. Obviously a very hard thing to do. And it was trying to make a kind of a hardcore PVP kind of game, which again is a difficult thing to do. Lots of competition, and they were trying to do something a bit different, so it is quite innovative in terms of the strategy genre. But let's quickly go through. As I say, this is a constructive criticism video. This is not to slag the game off. I think it had problems, but there was some interesting stuff there as well. So let's quickly do a mission, I suppose, to show what's going on here. Let's show what the game is. So we can see here, it doesn't really matter what these kind of arena things are about. Let's see if we can find an opponent. The problem of it being the last day before they switch the server off is probably no one else is playing. Probably playing some AI here, but let's see. So this is going to be a PvP battle. So he's just dropped his main character down there. You see I've got some cannons down here. I've dropped my main character down here. It's got a kind of mana-based system, we can see. I can drop that power up on him. So I've just defeated his character. You've got two of these kind of hero characters. Now I'm going to defeat his cannons over there. I can drop one of these dogs. These go. All the kind of units have particular things they attack. He's dropped that other character down there who's now trying to destroy my gate, which he might do. I can drop some effects on there. Obviously a lot of time-based stuff. You can see it's kind of very active, lots of things going on. So the typical kind of defending your area and attacking his area. So it looks like I'm doing okay in this case. I can drop some more of these mad dogs down. They're quite good at attacking the quantum gate, which is what the game's called Quantum Sieges. They have these gates at the top here. Oh goodness me, I'm going to get wiped out here. So let's drop that character down. Let's do those effects. I think you can see it's very kind of almost like wave based. He's got all his characters out now. I've only got a few left. I'm going to get trounced. Okay. Doesn't really matter, just showing you the game. So this is the PvP element. There is a kind of a kind of single player mode as well. But see, my gate's going to be destroyed now because he's just wailing on it. So there we go, I lost that. Enemy captured my gate. So you can see things to see. It's very quick. So was that even a minute? And kind of uses the kind of ideas we've seen from, you know, historic computer strategy games where you have units, different units work well against different things. There's a time element in terms of how quickly you can create these units. So kind of a lot of the basic stuff was there. So that's fight players. May as well just quickly say this one. This is the campaign. So this is like the single player mode. So a bit more kind of strategic. You've only got 3 minutes once you start, but I can rotate around the battlefields. One of the things about it was 360-degree battlefields. I've got to destroy the enemy gate there. You can see there's some enemy tower here. Some enemies behind some laser doors. Some more enemies. Oh, 2 gates actually. Okay. So what can I do? I mean, typically. Oh, time started. Oh, okay. So someone's just spawned. The game's just spawned one of my characters there. So I'm just going to drop some characters in now. So you can see. It's always good to get one of your 2 hero characters in. They're the most powerful, obviously. I can drop this laser down. There's this kind of area effect actually. Let's use that one on him. So you can see some enemies are attacking other specific of my characters, so they're just avoiding some and attacking others. Obviously where I drop my characters on the base matters, because there's another cannon here that I'm going to have to take out. Let's drop those guys in. I think they take out cannons, do they? Yeah, in they go. So I'm taking that Quantum Siege out. Now I drop this ram one. He just goes and attacks the enemy base. This is obviously kind of fairly easy to do. You can see compared to a PvP match, this is much easier. I can take this. Can I take that out? There we go. Take that from outer space. But I'm going to win this one quite easily. My team are quite leveled up really for this campaign. So you can see how the gameplay works. It has proper gameplay. It's not really it doesn't really have any time-based elements like that. You know, you play through a mission, you get rewards. So where does the time-based element work? Well, clearly, as we've all seen from kind of Clash Royale onwards, there's these things, keys. I have a certain amount of slots. I have to wait for them to charge. So I'm just getting some, the leveling up system will go into for the characters. So this one here, I can start charging. It's going to take me 15 minutes, or I can use. We may as well use it now. There's no point saving my currency, as the game's not going to be working tomorrow. So I'm just going to open all these up quickly. Oh no, wrong one. So more currency, more. Effectively, these are shards to level up my units. Okay, this campaign key. Get obviously different keys for different kind of achievements. Okay, so now we're done. Gonna get a free key in 4 hours, and then get a campaign key, battle keys, and then actually got 8 slots there to make it a bit faster. So that's the basic game. Daily events obviously not going to happen because the game is dead. The login rewards are still working for what that's worth. That's the soft currency. So a lot of the kind of functionality was there. Never had guilds or anything like that. Alliances never implemented that feature. So let's go in and see the kind of the final bit, I suppose, is the units. And this I kind of think is where the game not necessarily fell down. I think that the units were fine. In the big update, actually, you used to get these units that were defensive units, like turrets and things, which I quite like playing with. But they were taken out in the last update. I think the idea was to focus more on offense rather than having this kind of mix of offense and defense. I think that kind of the thinking would have been that kind of constrained the flow a little bit and made the game. I thought it made it more interesting, but obviously in terms of the metrics, maybe it didn't. Maybe people weren't using those units very much. Also, it meant you had at the moment I've got, you can see in the bottom of the screen, I've got 6 units that are kind of affecting my deck. I mean, it's not a card-based game from that point of view, but these are effectively the units I can use, swap in and out. You had more of those, and they were restricted in terms of what type of units you could put into them. So I think that it makes the flow cleaner to not have these units. So these were like these hero units. So you can see he had this active ability, this photon blade, that was this kind of laser that was kind of coming down. We can see all the usual stats you would get. He's level 6. He was one of the first ones you got, so he leveled him up. This is my other hero unit. Didn't use her, Tara, so she was a ranged character. Actually level 7, so she had this decay unit, so kind of decay over area decay. You can see the leveling system. There's anyone to level up? Oh, I could level up, so I could level up Demos. Oh no, I need 2 more to level up. So we can see the other kind of issue. I think these kind of characters were a bit, I think, generic. So this one, they were common characters. They were basically like melee, heavy duty melee characters. You had these other ones who were kind of range characters. You see what they would. These guys would attack other units. These guys would attack other units as well. Here's the ram, the literal bull. Sorry, he would attack the enemy gates. And there were these other ones, these dog kind of wolves. They would attack other machines. So you could. There's other hero characters. There was the Conrad. Again, another melee kind of character. So we can go through. There was these other. So you had these other ones here. Had different kind of rams, different kind of. These ones were hyenas. Kind of did the same sort of thing as the wolves. There was this kind of quite complicated. You see here. They're a construct. There was this kind of like class system, and originally the game had this. It was kind of locked down, so you couldn't use certain classes against other type of classes. So these ones were. Oh, they're taking it all off actually. These ones were a certain type of class, and you couldn't kind of use certain ones together, which again was an artificial restriction, which forced you to make some choices, but they weren't very interesting choices. I didn't really feel. And after the big update at the end of 2017, all that kind of stuff was removed. So there's like armored rhino, again, similar thing to the bull, and I just kind of felt that this was kind of a little bit generic in terms of the kind of characters. So a lot of these ones, this was like the lion. So you had kind of a lion, a wolf, a hyena, but they all pretty much did exactly the same things. And once you removed the kind of character class restrictions, then there wasn't really much point. Much difference between any of them. The thing that was interesting was these hero characters, who at least visually were quite different. There's some I didn't unlock. So she was a kind of magic kind of character. and these ones are locked, so I can't even select them. There's this guy, he's quite funny, this is massive. I just kind of thought the art style as well was a little bit odd. I mean, this is just kind of, yeah. And in a sense, I kind of think it just didn't quite hang together as a game. The gameplay was good, but I guess partly because these sessions were so fast. Certainly the single player things just weren't interesting enough. I kind of felt you kind of burned through them. And the PvP stuff was interesting, but I think it's quite hard to have a game just about PvP unless you have an alliance system, and they never had an alliance system in the game, so it didn't really make a lot of sense. Because all these free-to-play mobile games, the balance is between the gameplay. This game had very good gameplay. That was always the point of having a kind of hardcore mobile-first gameplay, so very quick PvP modes. And you have the campaign mode to kind of unlock things and maybe get an idea about which kind of units to use together in conjunction with each other, and also to get more rewards. But it was basically about PvP, and it never just kind of hung together enough with enough, I think, variation on the units. That's really where I think the problem was. Not even the art style. I mean, I didn't like it particularly, but that wasn't the problem. The wider issue, I think, was there was just not enough variation. There was a kind of a lot of generic. I'm probably not even using the right units here. Let's drop these guys down. The other thing to say is it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's lots of mobile games going to soft launch, and it's very hard to have a successful mobile game. This is a very complicated kind of area of of the industry. I'm going to lose again. And sometimes I think games can end up in soft launch for too long, and you can end up kind of maybe sometimes it's better just to, or maybe a silly thing to say, maybe it's better to kind of release them and see how they get on. Obviously, people are spending a lot of millions of dollars in terms of developing these games, and that's a silly thing to say, really. But sometimes I think developers can overthink things, and certainly a game that goes through a big update just before it's potentially going to go live, then you're probably on a hiding to nothing. And it's not just this game; it's kind of interesting as well, I guess, for the Clash Royale, the Brawl Stars similarly gone through a massive change in order to change the orientation. That generally means a game is not going well. And equally, I don't think it's bad. I think it's better for developers to kill games rather than launch them, because I think once you launch a game, then you're probably doing a lot of marketing money is going into them. And it's better to have a product that you learn a lot from, and then not obviously, but these guys, Armada Interactive, are working on another game now. And obviously, they'll take everything they've learnt from the long soft launch of Quantum Siege, and they'll put that into the new game. So we'll see how they get on. But I do think it's fascinating for someone who is a journalist about free-to-play mobile games is to see some of these games in action. And see the changes that developers try and make, and it, as I say, it is no failure to kill a game in soft launch, I don't think. So that's the end of Quantum Siege. I'm going to lose again, yeah. So maybe I wasn't a very good player at it. But thanks for watching the video. The long view is all about free-to-play mobile games. Often I do play ones that are in soft launch, so you get to see some interesting changes as developers update them. During the process, obviously they see the numbers, see who's playing, see why people are leaving, or see when people are leaving at least. They can make some quite significant changes to those games to try and make them stronger. Because really all they're looking for, I think, is retention. So retention is getting players coming back every day and playing every day or every week, and playing for a long periods of time, because that's any way you can really monetize players with. They're really putting a lot of time and effort into a game, and then they'll start spending money because they realise the value, they've created value in playing that experience. So that's really where most games fall over, is they can't retain players for long enough, and that's a hard thing to do. That's really about a mixture of metagame and gameplay, and I think particularly games that don't have too much gameplay, that's fine for the first month or so, but you need really long kind of metagame cycles in order to keep people really playing for a long period of time. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in free-to-play mobile games. But other than that, thanks for watching, and see you again soon.